Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Gata, and I am excited to take you on this journey as I dive into coding and web development. Let me give you a little background about myself. I grew up surrounded by the legal system. Think judges, law enforcement, attorneys. So when I was a little kid, I wanted to grow up, go to law school, become an attorney, become a judge, and become a Supreme Court justice. So obviously, when I turned 18 and went to college, I went to get a degree in mechanical engineering, which, as you might know, is a very math-intensive degree with nothing about law in it. This was where my first introduction to coding came from, in a C++ course that was part of my degree plan. Unfortunately, that course, in my opinion, was horribly structured and felt like the equivalent of learning to code, writing all your code down on a sheet of notebook paper and handing it in. We didn't create anything substantial. We didn't get to see what was actually going on. There weren't good explanations of why we'd ever do this. We were just learning how to do this. And it was boring, incredibly boring, and entirely unengaging. So mechanical engineering didn't work out for me. I wound up taking a break for personal reasons, and that's when I went into retail management, working just low management positions in the retail world, dealing with massive amounts of customer service, and eventually I got a job as a parts delivery driver for an HVAC company. And it was there during that time that an opportunity came up for me to return to school. I ended up getting a degree in business administration, course correction from my mechanical engineering, and I focused on enterprise management and entrepreneurship. This experience taught me a lot about starting and managing businesses and understanding why new ventures either succeed or fail, different management styles, different teaching styles. And after graduating, as the job market was a bit challenging. It was at post-COVID. My degree gave me a broad range of opportunities, but many positions required very specific skills and experience requirements that I didn't have at the time. Well, I was casting a massive net, but when you cast a massive net, it's also just looking for a needle in a haystack. So while I was working on reviving an old laptop and installing Linux to make it functional, a friend of mine who teaches computer science got interested in helping me and gave me some resources through the debugging process and guided me along the way. And that led to where I am now. The game changer, the greatest resource that he gave me to get me interested, was Free Code Camp. Captured my interest, kept me engaged, and despite some structural issues in its teaching approach, it pushed me to start solving problems independently. And that's why I'm here, as I recognize, as someone who has tutored before and taught, it has its failings. But it got me interested, and it came with some free certifications. And man, as soon as I put those in LinkedIn, that massive net I was casting, where I was getting everything from a gas station assistant store manager to senior account manager of a financial firm, massively narrowed into things that were much more applicable for the skill sets that I was learning and the skills that I had. So what does this mean for the channel? Well, I believe that the best way to truly understand something is to teach it. Here, I'll walk you through projects starting with Wes Bos's JavaScript 30 Challenge, which you can go and sign up for right now for free. It's a great resource. And I'll share my work process, the resources I use, and the tools that work best for me. Keep in mind, these are tools that I have found useful so far, but feel free to explore and find what works best for you. Quick disclaimer, I am new to this, very new. I do not have a computer science degree. I am entirely self-taught in all of this, and I am still learning. So if you know an easier or better way to do something, drop a comment and I will look into it. This channel is all about learning and growing together. All right, let's get started with the main tools I use. First is GitHub. It is a great application, a great resource, and I highly recommend you get it. I use GitHub Desktop right here to keep my repositories organized, and for my IDE, my integrated development environment, I use VS Code, both completely free. So VS Code kind of just helps me with visualizing things and seeing how the changes I'm making fit together as I work. But if you prefer to use Notepad and just drop an HTML file directly into Chrome, you do you. There are plenty of tutorials out there on how to get GitHub and VS Code, so feel free to check those out. Maybe one day I'll create a guide myself once I've mastered these tools a little bit better. Now, first off, we're going to go through the basic process of setting up a repository. We will create a new repository. Right here, you'll get this little link, same name, and we're just going to call this our test repository. Right here, you can enter a little description. This is just a test. And right here is where you can choose the file path for where all of everything's going to be stored. And I like to personally initialize everything with a README. It's just a great little resource to have for taking notes and outlining the structure of what you're going to be doing in your project. So we're going to create that. And now we can push this repository, this name, out to GitHub so that if we make an oopsie, we can dial it back a little bit and not have to lose all that work. Now, next, let's open up VS Code right here. And you'll get a nice little welcome to it. The basic structure over here is for what we're going to be doing. Generally, anytime we're doing something, I'm going to start you off by just creating an index.html, a style.css, and a script.js. If you just look through here, those are just basic files. Now, a bit of quality of life. Right over here, you can find your extensions. And there's a lot of recommendations, and you can see I have a lot installed. I use maybe 3 of these. This is just me exploring things. But the most important one that I recommend to you, if nothing else, is to get Live Server Preview. This will let you just take a look at how things change as you work. That way you're having a better grasp of what you're doing. I recommend you to experiment with these a little bit. Look around for extensions that might help improve your own personal workflow and just find what works for you. Next time, we will get on to making our very own application. So that's it for the introduction. I'm thrilled to start this journey with you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any updates. Let's get coding and have some fun.